And away. All right. We got it, lady.
Got it. Let's rip this thing off.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Welcome aboard, everybody. Play Pants, the podcast, episode number 85. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan. A couple of things that we want to talk about. I got an email that was sent to us, and this guy's wondering why we haven't brought something up very specific on the podcast, so I thought we would address that. Jason said he's got some Southern stereotype things to talk about. I would like to maybe take a look at what people thought about our Aerosmith lists. Apparently, we forgot a bunch of songs that people really like by Aerosmith last week. So that's always good.
Yeah.
I did want to just touch upon, I wanted to mention the Sex Pistols. There is an anniversary today. And then Mother's Day. Tick, 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 tick. Mother's Day this weekend. Okay. Mothers are awesome. At this point, when you're listening to this podcast, if you got to mail out a card, it is not getting there on Sunday unless, and I have resorted to this before, I have FedExed a $2.99 Mother's Day card that cost me $24 to get to North Tonawanda, New York. It does not count. If the Mother's Day card shows up on Monday, and Mother's Day, we all know, is on Sunday, it doesn't count. You might as well have not sent one. It's got to get there. You can send a Mother's Day card and it get there 2 weeks ahead of time. You're covered in my house. It's the way it works. The day after, you're dead to me.
Well, you know what it means.
I'm dead to my mom.
Your mom knows you have continued throughout your entire life to continually be a giant pile of garbage. And mom's just like,
pretty much.
It's about right. It's about right. This kid is I've done nothing for this kid all these years later.
But, you know, now things have changed. Having my own kid and then her having to get stuff to her, that has kind of really kicked me in the ass a little bit. So, you know, we got to make something. So we had to do arts and crafts last weekend, and then the frame and the paint, and, you know, and we got to glue the Galveston seashells to the frame and pick out the picture. Got to get all that stuff in the mail. So I'm good about it now, but I did wait until today to do the flower thing. Now, this is not a commercial. If they want to endorse this podcast, that would be great. But I do kind of flip-flop between proflowers.com and 1-800-Flowers. I just kind of go back and forth between the two. I don't price shop. Whatever one I plug in, that's the one I'm buying from that day. I don't know that one's better than the other, but I can tell you 1-800-Flowers, they were like, fuck you. We're not getting any flowers to your mom before Sunday. Really? So I started to panic. That was 1-800-Flowers. I went to proflowers.com and no problem. And I mean, do you know of another really big one? Those are the two biggest ones, right?
I usually in the 1-800-Flowers guy. I've been using those guys for years, and they're great. I've never had a problem. They've got the little reminders that pop up. Oh, it's your wife's birthday in a week. Oh shit, it is. Thank God for 1-800-Flowers. I'd be a single dude.
So I did something, and here's a little pro hack. Maybe everybody knows this. I don't know which one does which, but I remember even when Rush Limbaugh was on Who's Dead, I still promo code. I type in Limbaugh. I type in Hannity on Hannity. I still put Dinah in there, who, God rest her soul, has been gone for years, but it worked for years after she did the endorsement. So I would, you know, even if it was get a free vase, I would always tell Dinah, hey man, just use your name. It's still in the system. I don't remember which one. Nothing was working, you know, and again, Rush Limbaugh's dead. So then I'm like, well, maybe the other guy that just got booted, I tried his name because I know for some reason they would advertise on Fox, and nothing was working. So I Googled let's see, what did I say? I went with ProFlowers. I Googled ProFlowers discount code. Boom, I found one that was 20% off.
Isn't it weird that someone takes the time to actually put those out there on the internet?
Yes. And it was very nice of them. And I just thought for sure, okay, I'm going to click on this and it's going to be, okay, they're just going to get into all my shit now. And it's going to be some kind of malware. And I still, to be determined if that is the case, but their code worked. I got $20 off the flowers, and that one's getting there tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
And
so
why don't you just go ahead and text me that code right now, and that way I can get my 20% off, and life is good.
Can do.
I dig it because I'm going to need to get that done. I want to do my final thought, Rod. Let's wrap it up.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Final thought already? Dude, we got some stuff we got to do today.
No. I just want to bring it up now because I'll forget by the end of the podcast because I'm that kind of guy. And if I
You
don't
really do want to do your final thought. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do my final thought right now. Let's go out of order today. Let's be zany. Let's be wacky. Okay.
Okay. I love it.
Final thought today from Ginty is this.
As we're getting started.
If you drive a pickup truck, okay, you're a dude. You got a pickup truck. I've driven pickup trucks. I got an SUV. Here's what I saw today. And this is not, okay, it is judgment. Okay, it is judgment. Okay. I'm in a parking ramp, right? Park garage, and the spots are tight and all this shit, right? So I'm watching this dude. And again, it's tight. I got no judgment because it's a pain in the ass to park in this parking garage. He's got a big full-size pickup truck. All good. Gonna fit. He pulls up, right? And he's going to back into a spot. I'm like, my man, you're thinking. Easier to pull out. My guy. So far, so good.
Like that guy.
Pulls out like you would. Get your mind right. Get the car straight. Go straight back. Life is great.
Be a man.
Okay. Well, okay. There's the phrase.
Be a man.
Phrase. He is a dude. How is he backing up to see behind him? Which I get it. It ain't the easiest trick, and you don't want to scratch up your fucking car or the other person's car. Our boy here, he's got the driver's side door open, and he's looking behind him.
Is this a late model truck we're dealing with here?
2022, 2021, maybe?
It's got to have a backup camera on it.
Okay.
Something's not working.
In all fairness, okay, maybe the camera doesn't work, but you know what you do have, right? Mirrors.
Side mirrors. Yeah.
The dude's got the door open and he's looking. You couldn't have rolled the window down? At least if you've got to go old school and go like not the best driver and you got to stick your head out, which by the way, learn to use your mirrors. Just saying. That's why they're there.
Yeah, no. Pat Ryan used to hang out. Pat Ryan used to hang outside the car and back that sucker up. My dad, I remember him, half his body was hanging out the door.
Door open, looking out. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there. And I swear to God, because I've gotten to a point in my life where I just stand there and I just go, what the fuck is happening? I'm literally standing there watching this guy and I'm shaking my head and I don't realize I'm shaking my head.
I get into this with Alex a little bit. He thinks that it's some sort of a weird flex of mine to back in. And I said, dude, all signs lead to benefits for backing in when you have a truck. My truck's not huge, but trucks are just big now. Trucks are big.
They're big.
So, I've got the big, it's a Tundra, not jacked up or nothing like that. Now, I would say in the last 20 years, the greatest advancement. Now, if you live up north, you're going to go heated seats on this one, maybe heated steering wheel. Yeah. In the last 25 years, okay, power steering, power brakes, it's been around. 25 years, the backup camera has to be the absolute greatest thing on the vehicles, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's some awesome things that now come with vehicles, but the backup camera is the sickest thing. It's not a flex. It's safer. Alex gives me shit because he gets stuck behind people that can't back up. Well, and I told him, I said, then maybe I'm just fucking awesome at it, but I can go, I'm a one take Jake. There you go.
Yep.
In, out, I can do it, but because of the cameras.
Right.
So it's not a flex, guys. If you're wondering, well, why is this guy backing in? Because I don't want to kill anybody when I fucking leave wherever it is that I'm parking. And it's just it's absolutely way safer. Everything about it is better. As a matter of fact, oil and gas guys will chime in on this. They have to back in when they go to work. Really? If they're at the refinery, you got to be able to get out of Dodge.
Good point.
You absolutely have to back in at some of these places. It's a rule. So you got to get good at that. And I understand if you're you and you're waiting for this jackass hanging out of his fucking open door trying to back in. That guy needs to. I could see if it was an Uncle Jesse Dukes of Hazzard truck.
They got mirrors too.
Was it an old? Yeah, those got mirrors on them. You're right.
They got mirrors. You know what is funny? It's like I come from a line of dudes who use the mirrors all the time. In fact, I remember when I was learning to drive, my dad. I was looking out the window trying to back up, and he goes and he says, "Stop the car." He goes, "If I ever see you do that again, you'll never drive my car." He's like,
Ooh.
use the mirrors. It's easier. Once you figure it out and you got your mirror set up, it's easier. You'll look like a rock star when you back into places. You're going to be fine. And I'm like, holy, this dude had the door open, hanging out. I'm like, he's going to chop his fucking head off. Dumbass. So
dude,
anyway,
your
final thought.
Dad was Obi-Wan, who he put the helmet on Luke with the blast shield over there. And then Luke said, with the blast shield, I can't see anything.
Yep.
Trust me, Luke. Use the Force.
It served me well for many, many years. So anyway, that's my final thought. Just wanted to get it out there because it was going to drive me. And I would have been mad afterwards if I'd forgotten, because usually I do forget the final thought. We get there and I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot. And you think I could write it down? That's not happening, dude. So what's this? What's up with Aerosmith, man? Because I actually went in and listened to some more Aerosmith after last episode. And it just got, you know what? I've never been super Aerosmith fan, but I got into a couple of tunes that were good. I actually went back and listened to Kings and Queens again. I forgot how good that was.
It's a great song. It's an absolute banger. Kenneth Harris chimed in very, very early on episode 84, Aerosmith Top 5, Where's Iron Maiden, and Feet. Now, this is directly from our YouTube channel, the Play Pants Pod YouTube page, because you can also listen, download, wherever you get your Play Pants, wherever you get your podcast, but we're also on YouTube. Kenneth Harris. So I love the old stuff. Like my number one would be Last Child, but not even a mention of my favorite album overall. I loved 9 Lives, by far my favorite album they've ever done. Therefore, my number 2 would be Ain't That a Bitch. 3 is Amazing. 4, Sweet Emotion. 5, Living on the Edge. So many other great songs by them. It's hard to only do 5. Welcome to Our World. One of my favorite bands growing up that my mother introduced me to. Another one of her favorite bands was Triumph. Oh. I don't know if I would have bore you guys, but I would love to do a top 5 Triumph. I would absolutely, that would be my favorite podcast ever to say. Well, maybe if we did a Tragically Hip top 5, that would be even more deep. But a Triumph top 5 would put a smile on my face.
We are trying to get more people to download this, not less, right? This is like golf. We're not trying to get less. We're trying to get higher numbers. So it's, I got it.
Shout out to Cool Karen, because she plays by the rules and she's always commenting and listening. She gives me her top 5. And then, how like we always kind of give, well, here's what came close. Here was just like bubbling under.
We're teaching people to be bad at this.
Yeah. So she did good job. She did her top 5 and then proceeded to type out 64 other Aerosmith songs.
I didn't know they had 64.
Maybe it was 14, but still, come on. I think she typed out another 14 of her. Like, this is what just missed. 14 songs did not just miss your top 5.
Yeah, I suppose.
You gotta have some sort of respect for the 5.
Right. Yeah.
See a couple of tunes here and there, but we get long-winded after our top 5s too, so I can't bust her balls that much. But thank you guys, man. I always love you guys adding. Kevin was so disappointed. My favorite Aerosmith song, Chip Away at the Stone, did not even get one of your honorable mentions.
Yeah, that's true. That's a pretty
It's a great song. And then he said Pump is their best second era album. Yeah, and everybody agreed that Aerosmith with the first and the second era, and we had that split proper. But yeah, a couple of songs that we just kind of totally missed the mark on, which we'll probably do that again today as we're getting ready for Mother's Day. We're going to talk about our top 5 songs about mothers, mention mothers in the title. I did run through, I ran through this exercise with my neighbors. I got a little 6-year-old birthday party going on across the street. But before we get into that, a quick little email from Mark. And I get some of these to my regular radio station, and people email me just Rod at the Buzz. And there's been a lot of talk about AI lately. And I don't know what you've been doing with that or Chat GPT. We're not going to sit here and get into a deep dive on this podcast, nor would either one of us, I'm sure, be able to. But there has been a few things that have happened in AI with radio. And he's saying, listen, I haven't heard you guys talk at all about AI. Rod, I've heard you mention it on the Houston show, but I'm just curious what you and Jason would talk about on the Play Pants podcast, if it's something that you would discuss at all. I mean, artificial intelligence is it's not to the point where it's freaking me out. And maybe it should be. Two things that happened. Number one, my company has said that they plan on using AI to the fullest. Now, what does that mean? If somebody's just tuning in, and I promise we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but artificial intelligence is just exactly that. There could be a personality, a jock, a DJ on the radio, and it might not be a human being. And it would sound like a human being is talking and what we call front selling a song. And I think most people that listen to this podcast are at least knowledgeable enough to know some of the terminology in our business. So it wouldn't be like for now, everything's for now, wouldn't be like a full on morning show. But if you hear somebody on the weekends just kind of getting in and out and front selling songs, and you really wouldn't do weather, although you probably could, but you could localize it. It could sound like, hey, Houston, what's going on? And it wouldn't sound robotic. My company and other companies have said that we plan on looking at this and using it to the fullest. That's got to mean people are going to lose their jobs.
Oh, 100%. You know how these companies work, man. They want to save money. And chances are it'll sound pretty damn good.
There is a company already that has put together their business model and are already saying, we're providing this service. So if you're in a much smaller market, and again, for now, because this could go on all the way up to the top 10 markets. Right now, there is a company that you can buy a radio personality from them that would not be real, and they will customize it for you. Probably written by GPS or GP, whatever it is. I'm not losing my mind over it. I'm not losing any sleep over it. But when you have people like Elon Musk and when you have people like Steve Jobs, and they talk about like this is the most either dangerous or this is the most significant advancement since the wheel, that type of thing. When those guys talk, it does get you a little worried. Some guy from Google just quit. Yeah. And his sole purpose of quitting was to whistleblow how dangerous what he was involved in creating.
I mean, think about it this way. That's where I started to lose it a little bit. I was like, okay, if it can write some promos for me, and I've messed around with the Chat GPT or whatever it's called.
GPT, yeah.
And I tell you what, it fucking does a good job. It'll outright my ass every time. And it's frustrating. It's scary. It fucking makes me miserable. It's like you just type in kind of like a guide of what do you want, and then it just fucking goes, and you're like, oh, ooh, that's good. Shit, I'm out of work. You know what I mean? That part's scary. If again, like anything else, if you use it as a tool and you use it for good, it can enhance things. It can make my job better, your job better. When I got freaked out was when that dude from Google quit and said, this shit, we ain't ready for this. I was just like, how is it that it isn't 5 minutes from now that fucking AI can just start going into the codes and start launching missiles? Like, how is it that it can't do that already? Like, that's the part that's freaking me the fuck out. How is it that someone can't go, hey, go do this and break all the codes and hey, good night?
But give me just a time frame off the top of your head. When will, in the top 50 markets, so New York is number 1,
right?
LA is 2,
New Orleans is 50,
Chicago is 3, New Orleans is 50, to give you an idea. So all the other cities that you can think of, Minneapolis and St. Louis and Buffalo and blah, 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 all these cities. Okay. They're all in there, right? Well, Buffalo might be smaller.
Buffalo's 60.
Jeez.
I know.
How long until top 50 markets are using artificial intelligence on let's just say the weekends, so that you don't have to pay anybody to come in on the weekends, which they don't now anyways?
What month is this? What month are we in? May?
Yeah. You think by the end of the year?
Yeah.
That artificial intelligence voices will be heard on radio stations in the top 50 markets.
Man, I tell you, highly likely. I would say we will hear it by the end of the year because these companies want to save a buck. Look, I would be guilty of it. If they say, Ginty, we've got this service through our company. It's AI. You could throw it on the weekends. I could have an overnight jock again. Are you kidding me? To get all my promotional shit and this concert's coming up and all that stuff. I'd fucking be the first guy to go figure it out. Yeah. Because I would because I've only have X number of humans, right? I got shit piped in. It's like, if I could take what I do, and if I had more people, like in the old days, we used to have people. We used to have an overnight jock, a 7 to midnight jock, and all the shit.
Like a live body in the room.
In the room. If this,
which I still think 90% of the people that are listening to this podcast right now think that when you hear somebody on the radio, I think a lot of people feel that person is standing there in real time and they're talking to them between even 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. And I can tell you that, and Jason doesn't mind telling you, in most cases, that person is not live. In most cases, and that's on through the top 10 markets, of which Houston is, I don't know, 6 or something like that.
6, yeah. I'll you know what? Here's why I say this will be sooner than later. Remember when we started doing voice tracking back, was it 15 years ago? It started happening. They started taking it and doing it in smaller markets, and we got the computer software. And everyone's like, oh, it'll probably just be like weekends and into small markets. And then now look at it. You know, New York has got voice tracking. Chicago's got voice tracking.
And what he means by that is voice tracking is
pre-recorded is all.
Going in ahead of time.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what's up? Here is Imagine Dragons on your favorite radio station. Hit it.
Yep.
You lay that down, and then that could be played 4 hours later. That could be played a week later.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
And you wouldn't know the difference. It sounds great because it's an art form. Voice tracking is a different way of doing radio, and it works. And I have no problem with it. I do it. There's been times when I've had to go to meetings because I got to fucking go to meetings, and I'll go do an hour and I'm doing my show. I'm sitting in a meeting and I'm on the air at the same time. It's the nature of the beast right now because you don't have as many people as you used to. So I would take this AI and I would have an overnight jock and I would have all kinds of weekend shit going on. You know what? I've already got it figured out what I want to do. I can't wait. Where is it? But it's going to be fucking.
Jason's looking forward to it. It freaks me out in the way that what we do as far as the Rod Ryan show, I mean, it's not happening everywhere like that. I mean, there's plenty of morning shows that are now just voice tracked and just more music. And, you know, we still do something that 4 live bodies come together and it is live. It is without a net. It is unscripted. It is reality TV before reality TV, reality radio. I mean, that's exactly what we do every morning. And that's been going on for a long, long time. And I get it, man. It's a dying thing, you know? I mean, it's still very successful, but they just, like you said, every business out there wants to cut corners. We just did a story today. AMC movie theaters, they don't want to pay Smarties or they don't want to pay Twizzlers for their candy. The candy companies are charging too much, and that they're not going to pay more for candy and not charge you more for your movie ticket. So they're trying to do everything they can to keep the movie ticket down. So you're not going to get Twizzlers. You're going to get Jizzlers. You know, they're going to come out with their own candies now. So it's not going to be, it's not going to be Smarties. It's going to be dummies, you know, and, you know, Sour Patch Children, that sort of thing.
Not like the buddy systems.
Everyone's looking to cut corners everywhere. Radio has been doing this for a long, long time. They are cutting corners. We are running these radio stations so unbelievably lean. Now, I'm just happy to do what I do.
I just want to make this very clear. Do I want to do it? No. Would I rather have a bunch of live human beings who are uber talented like I do and have more of them?
It's just not
fucking lootly.
It's not in your budget. It's not your fault. Of course you want live bodies. You would love to hire a ton of people. Absolutely. I would love to have 10 people on my morning show. I would love to have somebody that researches some of the shit we talk about so that at least we sound like we're, you know, somewhat intelligent. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, man. But what you know what, if they said, Ginty, we want you to run point on this fucking thing for our company, I'd be like, all right, I'll get this figured out, man. Because believe me, I can find ways. I mean, I've got everyone on my team is super fucking talented and awesome, and we just find ways to get shit done. And sometimes it's very unique, but we make it sound huge. with very little. And that's the goal. And if I could get some voices, and they'd have to sound good, believe me, they're going to have a certain quality level and all that shit. But if I can figure out how to program it where it's banging through the tunes and nobody can tell the difference, you bet your ass I'm doing it, because it's going to ultimately help me get more ratings and more revenue. And there you go. That's all my job is, ratings and revenue. The rest of it, how we do it, don't matter.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Jason Ginty.
Right.
And here comes Lincoln Park. Thanks for listening.
But that's the thing. If they got it so it doesn't sound like that, and right. I don't think it will. I think it'll sound
it doesn't.
Fucking great.
There was a guy, we were talking about how I didn't want to talk all this. I didn't want to talk this long about it, but I'll say one final thing and then you say whatever you want. They can clone, like they do these deep fake videos and they put your faces on these other videos. And I love looking at them. It's unbelievable. They put Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice on all these different movie characters and his voice and everything. And I love these videos, these YouTube videos. These deep fakes are unbelievable. The stuff with Tom Cruise and when Bill Hader, they've got old clips of him doing all these different voices on, like on talk shows. And then the face changes. These deep fakes are unbelievable. They don't need to go in and get you saying all these words and they chop and paste. That was old days. Mm-hmm. They need you talking for about 20 seconds. So start the timer. Here we go. Hey, what's up, man? My name is Rod Ryan. Listen, this is the Play Pants Podcast. I appreciate everybody being here today. You can get this podcast wherever you download podcasts. We'd love for you to watch the YouTube channel where you can actually see us and see how silly we look as we're talking to you. That was 20 seconds.
Right.
They can take that and they can create conversations with my voice. The guy did it. He took something that I was talking about on the air and he's like, hey, man, it's Rod Ryan, blah, 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 blah. It sounded like me, dude. And then he made us fake liners. And I can't remember it. He did. I can't remember what celebrity he did, but says, hey, this is such and such. And you're listening to the Rod Ryan Show on 94.5 The Buzz. It was not that person. And it wasn't, a great impressionist like Bill Hader or something like that. It was done on his computer on a free software program that is available to everybody.
Now, I don't know if I should be mentioning this, but we actually had from the top down saying we cannot, as DJs, use that shit on the air. Like, so if I want to go fake an interview with fucking, Freddie Mercury, I could do it now through AI. Okay. Yeah. Or a living rock star. Chances are I'm never going to get an interview with David Lee Roth or, whatever, as an example. I can have one now. I can do it through AI. And our company said, look, you are not to do that at all. Ever. Wow. Because the fear is that all these celebrities now could come back and sue the radio company because, hey, that wasn't me. And you're using their likeness. And that's where this gets scary as shit, man. Because now, guess what? I'm endorsing fucking bombs. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, Rod Ryan is endorsing this product that's killing people or some shit. Rod Ryan loves Jizzlers, and it's like, wait, no, I don't love Jizzlers, So that's where it's going to get
sometimes.
Weirder. You got to do what you got to do late at night, but things happen.
Well, I'm going to stop us because it really, it's insane. And I don't know how many people find it fascinating, how many people think that it's something to be worried about or excited about. Mark, I appreciate the email.
Well, one more thing.
I just imagine my sister had this same discussion, at General Motors when they were rolling in the robots. Mm-hmm. Sue is still on the line at General Motors. She's on the line. There are things that humans need to do still to assemble that Corvette engine. But the amount of automation that's in there now, she says it keeps getting more and more and more. And, so these conversations have been happening for a long time in so many different industries. But this is such a personal, not only personal to us, but for artificial intelligence to have a personality, and to be writing things and to be thinking about things, that is fucking scary. And that is the whole thing of a Terminator taking over.
Well, that's where we got to end it. But I wanted to say this. it's very disheartening when this AI, and literally this is all coming out of, like, it's been around for a while, but like the last few months it's really kind of exploded.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing things about the government going, we should have a meeting about this. I'm like, the fucking door is open and the horses are long gone. We're fucked.
It's malarkey. It's
can't keep up with what's happening in this tech. I think about it. We went from that old shitty TV, and then we got VCRs, and then we got CDs and DVDs, and then your iPhones, and it's like it moves very quickly, and it just seems to move faster and faster and faster. Again, it's the old, if it can be used for good, I'm all for it. It's what can it be do to fuck things up? That's where it gets really scary. We need superheroes. That's what we need.
Hey, it's Sid Vicious's birthday today. Did you ever have a moment of time where you got into punk and you got into the Sex Pistols? Did you have a moment?
A big safety pin through my nose. Yeah, back in the day. No, I fucking, you know what? I was too young for when the Sex Pistols were hot in 77. It didn't resonate. I was 6. So it didn't make any sense.
Well, but punk, for me, it hit me. Of course, the Sex Pistols had come and gone already. And I wasn't listening to the Sex Pistols in 1977. But, when you got into high school and you started, rebelling and looking for things and doing everything, you metalhead, then you started, these punk kids were kind of cool. And you started listening to what, and I had a year and a half, 2 years where I really kind of immersed myself into it. And man, I was into it. I was into it, man. The Sex Pistols, that was a big, big deal for me. I just saw Sid Vicious. He died of a heroin overdose. I think maybe that's the anniversary today of him passing. My neighbor, I asked him about the Sex Pistols. There was maybe a 5 or 6 part series that was done by Danny Boyle, who's really, really well known. He's done a lot of great stuff. Right. But it was called Pistol, and it was on FX. And nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about it. And he said he watched it. He said it's amazing. So I'm putting that on my hit list. I didn't want to get into a whole thing about the Sex Pistols, but he said it's really, really good. I'm fascinated by the band. I want to know more about it. I think I've read a couple of books on it. And Jonesy is still around, the guitar player. Steve Jones still does radio out in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he's this iconic guy on the radio, and he has people come in and he jams with them and stuff. It's a pretty amazing story that for a band that had one album, and you have Noel Gallagher, who wrote 6 or 7 Oasis albums. And he said, I would trade it all for one. If I could have the songs from Nevermind the Bullocks. Really? Think about what he wrote. He said, I would trade them all for that one album.
Jesus Christ. I don't get it, man. I've tried to listen to that shit, and it's like I love it. I try to fucking listen to everything, and I'm just like, okay, got it. I mean, I don't know. It never resonated with me. That never fucking resonated. I always thought, like, Sid Vicious, I said, these guys are just a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah,
and that's punk ethic. I get it. I guess that's the punk thing, but it's like
you had to be young. There's certainly, I don't think there's any late in life punks, Well,
you look weird then.
But if it hits you at a point where you are rebellious and it's meant to be young, everything is geared towards young and revolt and everything. And I probably got into it late, and I was, 17, 18,
Right.
And I started to get into it. And then I started listening to stuff like Bad Brains. And, that stuff really did bridged beautifully into Jane's Addiction and into what happened, with grunge and Nirvana. It's a really natural bridge when you look at the history of music. So yeah, the Sex Pistols, very important. Just throwing it out there. I'm going to watch. I'm going to put that. It's on my watch list. I got to get done with this fucking Succession show. Are you watching Succession?
I watched the first few episodes. I kind of got bored. I just was like, whatever.
These are horrible people, dude. These are horrible people. I can't wait for it to be over.
I can't watch more horrible people. There's enough horrible people in the world. I can't fucking watch more.
But I think that's what all television is now. It's about making you anxious. That does seem to be the goal of these TV shows now. It's the anxiety.
Yeah.
These are horrible fucking people. I hate everybody on that show. I like Greg. He's the one guy I like. Sorry. That's it. He's the only guy I like. Everyone else, they're horrible people. And Greg's even a piece of shit, but I like him.
Well, when everyone's a piece of shit, you've got a new perspective. The bar's been changed. So the least piece of shit is kind of your favorite guy. And it's scary when you think about it. When you break it back down to reality, the guy's still an asshole. But that's what's so great about TV like that. Yeah, I've been watching the fuck is the zombie show, The Last of Us, right?
Okay, I finished that. I thought it was good. I didn't think it's great. I thought it was good.
It's not great, but I like how they do. And I'm not going to ruin anything here if you haven't watched it. No spoiler alerts, but I like how each episode really kind of takes a different story, and I think that's pretty cool how they weave it all together.
Well, it's like the video game. You're in different rooms and you're in different campaigns and whatever. I mean, so people that play the video game, which that video game just went into the Video Game Hall of Fame in Rochester, New York this week. Last of Us has been around. That's a video game that's been around for a long, long time.
Never heard of it.
But this Pascal guy is everywhere.
Great.
Pedro Pascal?
He's the master. And by the way, I've got it figured out, dude. I know what we're doing. You and I. Here's what we're going to do.
Okay. We're going to do mushrooms and drive around like him and Nicolas Cage in a convertible.
That's a better idea than I just had. I got to be honest. That sounds fucking great, dude. We should do that. But no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to rewrite Cannonball Run, and Pedro Pascal is basically Burt Reynolds. You look at him, and every time I look at him with a mustache, I'm like, that's fucking Burt Reynolds. Put a cowboy hat on that dude. He's Burt fucking Reynolds when you look at him.
I never saw it until right now. You're 100% spot on.
I'm like, Cannonball Run. We're going to redo Hooper. We're going to do all of it, man. We're going to go out there and we're going to do the whole Burt Reynolds catalog, and we're going to make it better, re-envision it. And then this dude's just going to be fucking doing Burt Reynolds movies for the rest of his life.
I do think that you could bring back Smokey and the Bandit. Come on.
It would be a tough one, but you could do it more modern, but you got to do it right. You know what I mean? Hooper, are you kidding me? Hooper's a great fucking movie.
But nobody knows Hooper.
I know.
The Bandit, you would have to, if he's going to go in that direction, he's got to be the Bandit.
Dude, a Cannonball Run. There's got to be a way. You could do it, man. It would have to be done Ocean's 11 style. You know what I mean?
If you could get A-listers, I was going to say, if you could get A-listers and if you could get Ben Affleck and if you could get,
all of it,
you could get everybody to take their salaries and cut it in quarter and then just say, listen, we got everybody in, we're lowballing it and we're going to do a Cannonball Run. That would be awesome.
I think
that would be awesome.
You got your Burt Reynolds. I've got Pedro pretty much locked in for the next 20 years with all the shit he's got to do.
Stuff.
Although I think he's doing okay, so he doesn't need my dumb ass helping him. I think I've eaten too many dummies, way too many dummies. So Ron, I was just looking at shit to talk about tonight because there wasn't much out there today. It was a rough putt, man. Tell you what, doing the research, some days you're like, well, fuck.
We've been blathering for an hour about nothing.
So that's every episode, dude.
There seems to be some shit to talk about.
Every fucking episode. Well, we could do that tomorrow, sitting down with a beer or drinking or eating mushrooms, cruising around in a convertible. So I stumbled across this thing about Southern stereotypes. And I don't want to go too far down this because I think it'll get us in trouble. But I thought it would be interesting from our perspective as Yanks from Buffalo, New York, moving to the South 26 years ago. And we've had a long time to be in the South. We had a long time up north. And I want to start with, is Houston, I get it's in the South, but Houston feels Texas. It doesn't feel Southern. Is that a fair assessment? Because when I think of Southern, I think South Carolina, Alabama,
Louisiana,
Mississippi, Louisiana, parts of Florida. The Gulf, that always feels Southern to me. The rest of it, you get to Texas, it feels different. I don't know if that's
Texas
true.
Is Texas. It's so because I've lived all three now. Think about that. I've grew up north, lived in the South. Now I live in Texas.
Yeah.
Now, when we lived in Buffalo, Texas was the South, right?
Yeah, everything below like Pennsylvania was the fucking South.
Correct.
It was.
So,
I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that carry over, the hospitality and stuff like that. But yeah, Texas is its own thing. For love or hate, it's its own thing. That's for sure, man.
Right. So one of the things that the Southern drawl, that Southern accent, which really is interesting because in New Orleans we don't have it. It's not in New Orleans. The Southern draw, the hey y'all, that's really a South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi thing. New Orleans is like a circle. You can cut out New Orleans and we're just a separate world, okay, from the South. We are not the South. You come to New Orleans, it is not the South. It is its own world.
We would always joke that it was Mars. Like it was another planet.
It basically is. And believe me, every day I'm reminded of it. But like you could draw a large circle around New Orleans and it's almost like a cliff. You just go right through this wall and now you're in the South. And then you leave, you come back, you're in New Orleans. So the big thing about the South is, of course, all we eat down here is fried food. Fried food is everywhere. Fried catfish, fried chicken, fried everything, which is why in the South, and there's a lot of correlations here, is, we're the heart attack capital down here in the deep South. It's because of the fried food. Now, is it a stereotype? No, it's the fucking truth. It's all about the fried food. And I see it in restaurants. And I haven't had fried food in so long. I boil things, crawfish boils. I gave up fried food a long time ago. Is the same thing in Texas? Are you frying every fucking thing? Your shrimp and your fish and shit?
Yeah. It would be barbecue first.
Right.
And then fried second, but yeah, barbecue by far and away, everything is in a fucking smoker here. I mean, everything is in a smoker. Everything is smoked. There's a lot of everything here, but you're right. As far as there's definitely a difference between the fried food there and the amount of fried food here. It's just not everything is fried in New Orleans.
Oh, God, yeah. It's brutal. When you go to a restaurant, you just see this fucking everything, crab legs, everything's fried. There's just fucking legs of all kinds of creatures fried. Yeah. It's like, Jesus, you wonder why people look like they do in New Orleans, man.
The soft shell crab I could never get into. The soft shell crab, just eating a fucking head of a crab and the legs crunchy and everything. And like the outer part. Now I realize like the crunchy part is kind of gone, but I just could never get into soft shell crabs. I always thought they were disgusting.
First time I had it, just soft shell crab po' boy. Someone ordered it. So you gotta get the soft shell crab here. And I've only been in New Orleans about 6 months. I go, okay. I did. And I look at it, I'm like, well, this motherfucking thing's fried, but then it's got all the shit on it, the shell. So yes. I got the thing peeled apart and I'm operating on this thing trying to eat the stuff. And the dude's like, the fuck are you doing? Just pick it up and eat it. I'm like, it's got all this stuff on it. And that's the last time I ever had soft shell crab. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over that shit, man. Two more things. The South loves country music. It's all about country music down here in the deep South, man. Which actually, if you think about it, it's not. That's the stereotype. The South loves its country music. It does. And a lot of that music comes from the South. But country is huge all over the country nowadays. It's fucking massive. Absolutely massive.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, the Bible Belt. I can't really speak to this one, but the South is known as the Bible Belt. I don't know if it's like that in Texas. I don't go to church very often, ever. So I don't know. Is church still getting populated? Do people still go to church?
I think the church nationally probably is in crisis right now because people aren't finding the time to go and do it. They just don't have the discipline. A ton of people go to church.
Right.
A ton of my friends go to church. I grew up going to church. I don't as an adult. I think the church population is way down. But then you talk about Houston though, and we got Joel Osteen, who his church is where the Rockets used to play. His church, think about that for a second. Your Smoothie King Center, our Toyota Center, which used to be the Compaq Center, which is now where Joel Osteen holds Sunday Mass. It's in a fucking arena. It's a 17,000 seat arena. Now you do notice it's not full. When I got here, it was full pre-pandemic. Probably a little before the pandemic, it was full. And then I think the pandemic also, everyone took a hit. Everything has changed. We're in a different world now. But I think people just said, you know what? Kind of didn't go to church for a year and a half. Let's just not go to church anymore. I think church attendance is down nationally.
It's gotta be. And is that really church, those big fucking places like that? That feels like there's just a money grab there. You know what I mean? Like, I guess if you get something out of it, it's okay. I'm not shitting on it if you go to this thing. That's fine. You do you, but.
So Joel,
he's been in trouble.
Joel Osteen does not have a 1-800 number on the screen, and he doesn't ask for money. He doesn't look in the camera and say, "Send me money."
Right.
So it's a little bit different than what 700 Club and what some of those other guys used to do back in the day when you had Jim Baker and all those other places. Joel is a little different. Don't get me wrong. People are sending him a ton of money. I don't know where he's asking for it, but they're sending it to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he does not even have a 1-800 number. And I don't think even a website up on that screen, even in the corner. I don't think he has it.
Fair
but
enough.
Somehow, believe me, people are sending that dude money because somebody's funding that thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, though.
Just to keep the lights on.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, does he own the building now, or does he just like rent that shit out?
No, it's his.
Oh,
it's his. And that show, his sermon, you probably have it on your TV on Sunday morning. I mean, it's a nationally syndicated mass that he does. So
get up for that.
Because he does say, he's like, hey, man, if you're here in Houston, please become a part of the audience. That's carried everywhere. That's on in New York. It's on in Buffalo.
Yeah, wow.
On Sunday afternoon, from here. So there's mega churches that are still packed, but I think there is something to the Bible Belt. I think there is still, when you get deep into some of these Carolinas, there's still some very, very Bible Belt things that are happening down here. And I think if you looked at church attendance regionally, the South has probably taken the least hit as far as attendance.
Right.
But I think the numbers are down everywhere.
You know what? What if AI comes for Joel Osteen? See, there you go. It could happen. Well, why not?
I don't know that you're going to have to get into holograms then too. Yeah. I mean, because it's him.
We got it.
People are going to see him.
Yeah, that's true. I was throwing that back around. I'm like, yeah, this AI thing can fuck everything up.
But maybe he just becomes like Oz, and like just fucking Joel Osteen's big fucking head. It just bow down to me, and then he's got the fucking flames going and everything, just like Oz.
I don't think the AI voice, they can just do a normal voice. It doesn't have to be big, creepy, scary guy. I don't think.
Yeah, but if you're gonna be the big head like Oz, you gotta, you gotta have the big head, and the little AI guy behind the levers, behind the curtain.
Dude, I don't think there's any levers of the AI. I think it's just fucking, it's just there doing its own thing, man.
Someone's got to program it somewhere.
Crazy.
Someone's behind a curtain somewhere. Okay, somebody. I don't care if they're a computer programmer. They're behind the curtain.
Okay, one more thing on the South. Women are hotter in the South.
They are.
Good Lord.
And more friendly. Yes. And more friendly. Let me tell you.
Very friendly.
Now, I don't know. Listen, it's 2 generations. Okay. We left. We were Gen X. That was it. Boom. Millennials have now come and gone in Buffalo. And now Gen Z is out there in Buffalo where we lived. I don't know how they act, but I can tell you the assholes that were our age, a girl that was a 5 in Houston was acting like an 11 in Buffalo and completely unapproachable.
Yeah,
fucking mean. They were mean, man.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, listen, I'm not making time with any of them, but at least the hot ones here, they feel like you got a chance. They're nicer about it. Just mean up north.
Yeah, but
it's not as hot.
I get shit all the time. Still, after all these years in the South, my wife's like, "Oh, there's the Buffalo. There's the Buffalo." And you get cold, terse, to the point, not friendly and warm. I'm like, yeah, well, that's how I grew up. That's how everybody was. No hugging, no kissing. It was just fucking, we got shit done. It was all about the biz. There's no touchy-feely. And I've had to soften that over the years. And I still got that Buffalo fucking, let's go, motherfucker, let's go. And I get shit my wife gives me. Will you relax? Do you have to be so damn direct all the time?
Did you watch the No Way guy from Canada?
You know what? I gotta go find that dude. I love that dude.
Did you watch any of his videos?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh,
This
yeah,
guy could have been any of our buddies that we drank with.
Oh.
He watches some hack on the internet, and then he's like, what? No way. He goes, for fuck's sake. Meaning there's no way that works. And then he goes and he tries it. Something simple in his garage. It could be something in a caulking gun or something. You know, he's a worker guy.
Yeah, that was the best one.
And it just every video he says, for fuck's sake. And it's just such a northern thing. And now he's full blown Canadian. So I mean, he sounds different. I get it. I get called Canadian all the time. I'm an American, by the way. But man, look up the No Way guy. Just you look him up on Facebook. He's so funny. I'm telling you, you cannot watch one of his videos. You've got to watch 8 of them. They're so unbelievably funny. And he does the exact same thing. He does the exact same thing. He just tries something different each time. But there was a black guy that was really doing well on YouTube, or I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was Instagram Reels. He was the black guy. And when somebody did something stupid, he would do like a normal application of it. And he had a real expressive face. He was a skinny black guy. And he would just present his hands like, all you had to do was just turn off the knobs on your faucet. And he would point with his hands.
Right. He was great.
This is the Canadian version of that, of a guy, you know, it's so
long hair and shit.
Yes.
And you know what's funny is as I'm watching, I'm going, oh my God, this literally is me fumbling around doing shit in my dad's garage as a kid. And he'd come out and go, he would just give you that. And he'd go like this. And then he'd show you the little trick. And you're like, what? No way. I hadn't felt that way.
I have not heard one Texan. I've not heard one person from Louisiana, not one New Orleanian say, for fuck's sake.
It just doesn't happen, man.
It's just something that's said a lot up there. And it's just really, really funny that he keyed in on that as his it's his catch. He's got 3 catchphrases, but that's one of them. And I look forward to him saying it every time.
He's great. He is fucking great. And it's so true. Like the shit he does, it's like, it's all simple stuff. And you're like, oh, I've learned 3 things from that dude just by watching his videos. Like, oh, I didn't know that about a caulking gun. What the hell? It was
how it cut the tip off.
Yeah. He's like, what? he couldn't, he was in such disbelief that there's a little thing on the handle that cuts the tip. You don't need, I always use this like scissors or a knife and end up cutting half my hand off.
Yeah. I want to hang out with that guy.
Dude, with a lot of fucking.
I so want to hang out with that guy. He tries to use WD-40 to take paint off of a truck. It's like, what? No way. For fuck's sakes, it works.
The fact that he's genuinely fucking shocked that it works. He's like, okay, then. You know, anyway. Yeah.
All right. Shit. Hey, Mother's Day is in 4 days. So we kind of opened with some Mother's Day stuff. It's definitely going to be way too late to get those cards in the mail. If you're lucky enough to be in the same city as your mom, man, you got it. And you're lucky. So 2 things. If you're lucky enough to have your mom around still, that's awesome. If you're lucky enough to have your mom around and she's in the same city as you, man, you got to realize like how special that is, you know? So take advantage of that bare minimum phone call, little FaceTime action, whatnot. I just told you in the beginning of the program, I struggled getting flowers there on time. I had to bounce around to a couple of different sites. So sent it over to Jason, got no resistance at all. No. Top 5 songs about moms, mothers, songs that are predominantly about moms. Wink, wink at the camera here, because something's going to be on my list. I think I'm going to blow your mind on a few of these. I think I'm going to blow your mind. Okay, for fuck's sake.
Let me quickly blow your mind. Hey guys, you know, your mom is cool, but don't forget about that wife, mother your children, or your baby mamas too. You know what I mean? You gotta play all the cards. You gotta throw all the cards out there. You know, your mom is important, but man, that wife brought in those children. You really want to get that one right too.
Yeah, even the ex, it's a pain in the ass.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Still gotta sit there and.
Yeah, you do, right? Let's just move on. Let's just
got to be the foreman over a macaroni necklace getting made. Okay. Let's go. Move it along. Let's go. Get the line moving.
For noodles. Fuck's sake. Oh my God. We're going to beat that into the ground, aren't we?
All right, we'll be back in just a few seconds. Let me talk about our one and only sponsor of our Play Pants podcast. Hey, I had a guy that, damn it. Now that I think about it, some guy emailed me, wanted to sponsor the show, and it was 2 weeks ago. I never got back to him. Hey, dude, would you email me back, please? Please. This is not how I like to do customer service. Normally, I will go look for that email. Jesus Christ. I'm just thinking of it right now. Some guy said he's like, how much does it cost to sponsor? Just so you know, it's less than you think. I mean, just, yeah. What do you have? Send us free shit.
We'll slide a number over to you. He'll open it up and he'll be like,
that's it?
What? No way.
We're going to have to email this guy and tell him that we're completely robbing him. But it's a tribute, though, right? If we're doing this, it's a tribute to him.
I want to go to his garage and hang out and sit on a bucket and drink beers with him and not even drink.
Everybody look up the No. I'll link to the No Way guy on our Facebook page because I think that's where he does a lot of his stuff. He's my favorite dude on the internet right now. Hey, listen, New Orleans just got through Jazz Fest. That doesn't mean it's not a great time to get to New Orleans, man. It's the party season. All summer long, New Orleans is going to be partying. Book that pirate tour. Book it online, piratesofthequarter.com. We were talking to Jason about this last week, comparing it to some of the other tours, and he doesn't shit on the other tours. The thing that's different, it's real pirate history. I'm not telling that the other guys are lying to you, but the other guys are lying about that shit. This is real pirate history. I said I wasn't going to do that. I get it. Discover real pirate history of New Orleans. Okay. Book your tour, piratesofthequarter.com. If you love pirates, man, check out the shop page too, man. They got piratesofthequarter.com. They've got a whole store now, all kinds of merch in there, kick-ass t-shirts for sale. Everything is at piratesofthequarter.com, at Pirates of the Quarter on all of your socials. Boom.
Yeah, I was out this evening doing a little tour for people from Germany. Dude, we're worldwide. We're international now. People from all over the world have taken this tour. It's
prestige, worldwide.
It's pretty amazing out there. And the French Quarter now, like, if you want to come to New Orleans, and you should, because now's the time. You're kind of in a weird zone. It's not super hot out yet, and Jazz Fest and all the crazy shit's done. So you want to come, the rates might be a little cheaper. You're not going to wait in line as long into the restaurants and shit. So yeah, definitely now is not a bad next couple of weeks. You know, it's going to get hot, but you know what? It's fucking hot. Go to a bar where there's air conditioning. That's how you get it done.
Jason, top 5 mother songs. As always, I think when I throw these over to you, you panic. You're like, there can't be that many. And then you spend 2 minutes. And then you say, oh, okay, yeah, this wasn't so bad. There's a million.
I spent about 1:30 on this one, and I was struggling.
Come on.
I was struggling, dude. Actually,
you struggled on this?
I did, but I think once you start talking about it, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot that one, forgot this one, forgot that one. But yeah, no, I dug around, I found some shit.
So my neighbors were all out there. I mentioned earlier, there's a 6-year-old birthday party, kind of an impromptu thing. Hey man, just would you come out and sing and blah blah? You know, boom. You just kind of need that. Everybody's here for everyone's kids, and so I tell Matt, my neighbor, I'm like, dude, top 5. Mother's Day is coming up. Top 5 mother songs. And they know the podcast. They know the format. We do top 5s. I don't think they've never listened. And what does Matt say?
What? No way.
For fuck's sake, what a time to listen to your dumb podcast. I live next door to you. You say enough dumb shit over the fence.
What do I want to get it shoved in my ears through headphones? Fuck.
I'm like, dude, top 5 mother songs. And he starts dancing. You sexy motherfucker. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's great.
I'm like, maybe some rock songs. That's the first thing that comes out of your face.
That's a good one, though. Says mom.
Yeah, it counts. It counts. What is that song?
It's a Prince.
It's a Prince song?
Oh, it's good. It's fucking
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to get a party turned? Put that on, dude. Put that one on. People lose their minds. It's a great song. It's got some potty words in it, but it's a good song.
And then the next thing out of his face was Mamma Mia by ABBA. Counts. I mean, everything he was spewing counts.
That's just a shitty song.
I'm down for some ABBA, but Mamma Mia.
You know what it is? I think that stupid movie's ruined it for me. When I saw him singing that and dancing in Greece, I was like, you could hold a gun to my head. I wouldn't watch that movie. I want nothing to do with that.
I never saw it. I never saw it.
Never gonna. Don't care.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Let me go first because mine's gonna suck. You probably got
What do you mean? What do you mean it's gonna suck?
Let me just start with number 5.
You spend a minute and a half on a list. Of course, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's about how I do everything, though.
All right, number 5.
Number 5. I know it doesn't. It's not about your mom, but I was actually listening to it today, and I've been a year away from classic rock, right? So I've got some cleansing that's happened. I haven't listened to a lot of classic rock.
I feel like a judgment coming here. Okay,
and
please.
I actually heard for the first time in about a year Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen.
That was brought up at the in my dad circle. That was certainly brought up.
I put it at number 5 because I knew it's a little fringy. It's not about your mom, but Mama Mia, Mama, the whole breakdown.
Mama just killed a man.
Yeah, it's a story. He's confessing to his mother that he fucked up.
It absolutely counts. You're fine on that. I
forgot about how great that song was, but I don't need to hear it again for a while. So that's number 5, Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen. I'm just gonna write down Queen so I don't forget. That was number 5. Number 4. Wow, I really went classic on this one. Mother's Little Helper from the Rolling Stones.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. I don't know if it has much to do with mom. I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics, but I love the song. Mother's Little Helper. You don't hear it a lot. It's a great jukebox tune if you get into a bar. Mother's Little Helper from the Stones.
Do you know what the song's about?
No. Didn't look it up. I had a minute and a half.
It's about moms taking drugs.
Yeah, see, it is cool. I knew it was
Mother's Little Helper is, and this has been going on forever. Mother's Little Helper is the thing that gets you through the bratty kids and the frozen steaks and whatever else they say. I'm not a lyric guy either.
Yeah.
And
it's wine.
It's specifically about a drug that was taken in the 60s by moms, and they would call them happy pills, and it just got you through the day. And that's what kept a smile on your face. And you greeted your husband when he came home from work and you had bratty kids all day. Mother's Little Helper were the pills.
Brilliant. Yeah, you hand the husband the highball. You take off his shoes. You rub his feet. You make sure his laundry's done. I got you. No, I get it, man. Mother's Little Helper. Great song. I was looking at it just as a song standpoint. The lyrics are great. Number 3. Lenny Kravitz, Always on the Run. Now, before you start saying what, the song has a lot of advice from his mother to him in it. So that's why it's a bit of
Roxy Roker.
Roxy Roker, the Jefferson, she played the neighbor married to the white guy. That was like a big deal in the early 70s, or what was it, mid 70s, late 70s?
Mid to late 70s. Tom Willis was the honky that lived next door.
Dude, you can't say honky anymore.
Can you not say honky?
I don't know. I love that word though. I think calling a white dude a honky should be brought back because he was
the honky.
Great.
Now,
it's so great.
What was the English guy that always needed spices that came over?
Oh yeah, that weird guy, man. He was always just fucking weird. But they were, you know what? When you think about it, Norman Lear, who created the series, his diversity was brilliant. That shit wasn't happening on TV. You had a black woman married to a white honky. You had the weird British guy. You had a rich black couple who, that shit wasn't happening on TV.
And they were moving on up because they were moving on up from being Archie Bunker's neighbors.
Yep.
And then the cleaning store hit.
So
and then,
brilliant.
That was a great show. That was a great show. So
great.
So Lenny Kravitz, absolutely. It's a fucking great
song. Number 3. Number 2, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Ozzy Osbourne.
Did you hear the cover song that came out this week?
I did not. Who did it?
So I don't know what they're doing at Sirius XM, but Stern, they must have some new studios that opened up in Miami, and somehow they got the old man to go down there. So Stern did a couple of days from Miami, which, God, I don't know how they got him down there. But he had a bunch of special guests, and Carrie Underwood was one of the guests, and they got her to do. And they must have, she had to learn the song and they had to get the arrangement right. She did Mama, I'm Coming Home. It's pretty fucking great.
Wow. It's a great song.
I mean, she can sing the phone book, it doesn't matter. But that song, I want to be on record as being the guy that said it. Said it on my radio show. I'll say it here that nobody listens to. There are so many hair metal ballads that are just waiting to be picked up by Christina. And all of these Pop-Tarts these huge songs that are basically just pop songs that were done by these hair metal bands. There's 15 of them that would be massive. Kelly Clarkson could do a whole album of them. Absolutely. And it could take her career, her singing career, to like the next level. She don't need any help. Yeah. But she's another one that I think her voice is just, I think it's just next level. Much like, Ozzy, that song, it was in that hair metal. Ozzy's not really hair metal, but that song came out in that time period when they were putting out all these power ballads. All of these power ballads are absolutely ripe to be redone by Iggy Azalea and all the other ones that are out there right now.
Oh, I agree. And it's funny because like Dolly Parton just released the track listing for her rock album.
Yeah, amazing.
And I thought, oh, maybe she's going to get on this. No, she's just doing the same old tired fucking songs. I don't know. I'll listen to it, but I'm hoping there's at least one or two cool songs in there. I mean, I love Dolly and what she's done, but I'm just looking at it. It's like, oh, we're going to do a Journey song. It's, oh, really? Are you?
But with Steve Perry and everybody wants
Steve Perry. I can't shit on it because I haven't listened to it. So anyway, number 2, Mama, I'm Coming Home. Number 1, and this is a deep cut that most people are not going to fucking get, so we might as well do the Triumph top 5. This band out of Canada called the Glorious Sons have a song from 2014 called Mama. And it's fucking great. It's all about their mom.
It's a great song.
Down by the river and all this shit. Dude, I'm telling you right now, if you don't listen to that song after the podcast is over, by the way, Glorious Sons, Mama, you're going to be like just shuffling around and you're going to be excited about it. It's a great song. It's a great fucking band. That's my number 1. And there you go.
First 2 Glorious Sons albums are amazing.
Unbelievable. And nobody fucking knows them south of fucking.
Same tiny hick town that brought us Tragically Hip.
Yeah.
Kingston, Ontario.
Great fucking band. Unbelievable, man. I really hope.
Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah. So that's my 5. Again, I'm going to hear yours and go, oh, shit.
Nah, you won't. There's some bleed over. In at number 5, let's get Aerosmith back on here. Mama Kin.
Ooh, I do like that song.
I absolutely love that song. It's one of my all-time favorite Aerosmith songs, and that's going all the way back to, I think, the first album, right? 73. Mama Kin at number 5. Number 4. Anybody that checks out our social media, and a few of you already did see this, I already posted the song on the Playpans Facebook page. UFO.
Oh, here we go.
Mother Mary. So here's my post, and I'm just going to paraphrase. I'm prepping for the Mother's Day top 5 list. I have to include this one. And then I put Jason's response. Yeah, I'm really going to get into some UFO. I'm going to go check some of that out.
And yet to do it. So,
Mother Mary, UFO.
Okay.
Number 4.
I'll get there.
At number 3, Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Boom.
Number 2, Lenny Kravitz, Always on the Run.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Slash on guitar on that.
Really?
He says Slash in the song. You just haven't listened all the way through in a while. He's like Slash. Slash does the solo. That's Slash on that song.
No shit. Huh. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's Slash.
All right.
In at number 1, the number 1 mother song, Judith, A Perfect Circle.
Oh, but see, that's a great one because it doesn't say mom, but that song is so powerful.
So
it's just powerful.
Maynard's mother, her name was Judith. She was paralyzed when Maynard was 10 or 11. And she remained paralyzed for the rest of her life. It was another 27 years. This is why I know, because it was 10,000 days. There's A Perfect Circle song called 10,000 Days, and it talks about the whole time that his mom was paralyzed. The song Judith, if you listen to the lyrics, he is so pissed off at her God. How could your God do this to you? And you didn't do anything wrong. How do you remain faithful to this? Look what the world has done to you. It's such an unbelievably angry song, and it's so personal. that I think it's into that category where he won't play it. And he's just an asshole to begin with. I don't mind saying that. You can blow me up all you want. I've talked to the guy. He's a dick. It's their best song. It's their best song.
It's unbelievable.
It's one of my favorite rock videos. And I think we've talked about it. But that song is so fucking powerful. And yeah, it's about his mom. So Judith is the number one mom song for me.
Yeah, you know what? That is a good one. That still resonates. That still is powerful. And I didn't realize it when it came out many years ago. I just thought it was a cool song. I always loved the song. But then I watched an interview with him or somebody, and they were talking about it. They broke it down. And I went back and listened to the lyrics. I went, ooh, wow, this has just gotten way better.
It's unbelievably angry. It's so, now that you know the story, go and watch how great the video is. And the sexiest bass player you've ever seen, I don't know how to say her name. It's Paz. But her playing the bass and fucking doing her hair up. And the most important thing about that video, because who is the guy Lynch? Not George Lynch from Doc.
David Lynch, the director.
David Lynch, I believe, made that video. That's my front runner. That's Josh Freese on drums.
Right.
The thing that pulls that fucking song together, and you really can see it by watching that video, go watch Josh Freese. And then you tell me that he's not ready for fucking prime time. He's too good to be in the Foo Fighters.
Oh, yeah. Way too good.
I still think he's the guy. I really do. If the kid, if Queen's son gets it, I'm not going to be mad. I don't care. Dave Grohl's going to make the right decision.
Right.
But if Josh Freese gets that job, I still think he's the right guy. But he was the drummer when A Perfect Circle came out. And that video and that song, unbelievable. Still, it just, there's nothing dated sounding about it. Nothing. It's 20 years old, right? It's got to be 20 years old.
Got to be close to it. Yeah. Early 2000s. Yeah. No, great song. Great video. You know what sucks about the writer's strike? All the writers in Hollywood on strike. Foo Fighters were supposed to play Saturday Night Live in a couple weeks.
No, I think it would have been this weekend. Would have been
this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Pete Davidson was going to be last weekend. And then it was going to be Stifler's mom, Jennifer Coolidge.
Yep.
And the Foo Fighters. And we would have found out. There's no way, we would have found out who the drummer was.
Yeah,
so
right in there. Yep.
Yeah, I was pissed about that. I brought that up too. And I wonder, like anything we talk about, does anyone else care? I'm obsessed about who is going to be the drummer of the Foo Fighters. Is that something that a normal fan cares about?
I think
you got to be some interest in it, huh?
Yeah, I think if you're getting the chat rooms and shit, I mean, if you're a fan, you want to know. You want to know who the damn drummer is going to be. It's never. I think when you see, you're just gonna go, oh, okay, cool, and you're gonna talk about it, and then you're gonna move on, and it's the Foo Fighters. You're gonna be happy that the Foo Fighters are back doing what they do best. You know what I mean? And I'm excited about it. I love the new song. Can't wait to hear the rest of it. They keep throwing out dates every once in a while. No New Orleans dates yet. I keep my fingers crossed. Hopefully down the road they'll do it.
Well, they just added ACL,
right?
Austin City Limits.
So we're getting closer anyway.
Well, but that just takes a shit on Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. There's a radius. I'm guessing what it is, but I'm assuming it's a 200-mile radius. When you play ACL, guess what? You're not playing these other places because they want you to travel to ACL. So that's a part of their contract. And I'm sure they pay you, they bonus you for not playing those other cities. But yeah, that fucks us all here in Texas when they play ACL. Any Fringe? Do you have like 16 Mother Fringe songs?
I did not have many, man. It was like there was nothing that really kind of grabbed me, It wasn't a whole lot.
Sorry, Not Sorry. Tie Your Mother Down. Queen is better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Ooh, that is a good song too.
It's better. It's just better.
It's just got more juice to it. Yeah, I like that song. It's a good song.
Mommy's Little Monster, Social Distortion, I wrote down.
Ooh, not bad, not bad.
Mama Said Knock You Out, LL.
Put your L's in the air.
Fucking great song.
Mama's. You know what? I really revisited that song and I liked it a lot better is when LL went into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Was it last year? I don't know.
Was last year? I think he went in.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know how they show the reel about his whole career? And I'm like, fuck, I didn't know any of that shit. That's awesome. So that I became a fan of LL. And then when he got up and performed, he smoked it. He was good. Like he was good.
He's been a part of these, like the 50th anniversary of hip hop. He's been a part of these things that have been on some of these award shows. And yeah, I mean, he's awesome. He's just an OG dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Social Distortion, I wrote down. We both stayed away from Mother by Danzig. It's a great song. It's great. It's the one Danzig song that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Mother, Tracy Bonham.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Mama, Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, Willie.
Ooh.
Willie Nelson.
Oh, see, now that's a bummer because that's a great song late at night.
Yep. Mama by Genesis and Mother by John Lennon were the other ones that I wrote down. There was a ton of Mother songs, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're missing a lot of the ones that are like Judith that isn't in front of your face. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's plenty of other ones that it's going to come out of the woodwork now, and then I'll be excited because then I got a bunch of music to go listen to.
And even so, the other neighbor, the English guy, when we were talking about the mother, he's like, "Yeah, Mama Says" by Lenny Kravitz, and I said, "Well, great song. The name of the song is Always on the Run, but it would count for what we do. That would absolutely count.
Pretty much everything counts on this podcast. We let it all slide. Usually,
there's not much that doesn't count. I agree.
Yeah, we let it go. It's our rules. We get to do what we want. So here's what new final thought. Rod.
A new final thought.
Yeah, maybe talk to the fucking guy who wants to advertise on the fucking podcast.
Oh, shit.
How about that?
Yeah, I got an email, man. I feel terrible. I mean, really, it's poor form to even tell you that slipped through the cracks of mine, but no. I'd love to tell you that I can get back to every single email. I absolutely cannot. I would love to email everybody back. I try to read them all.
I'm with you.
But yeah, it's still a couple hundred a day. So I saw it. I don't know how I would look that up. I will try to find it. But if you give me a second chance, I promise you I'll get back to you. But I can tell you that advertising on this podcast would be a lot cheaper than you think.
It's not, you know what, you get a lot for your money. You get a lot for your money because it works. And as a testimonial, we get a lot of people from Houston that take the Pirate Tour. So, and they all say, "Hey, heard it on the podcast," because we have a little drop down. When you book a tour, it'll ask you, "How did you find out about it?" It was, an advertisement. It was a magazine ad. Was it the Playpans podcast? And we get a lot of that. We've garnered a lot of business through this podcast. No joke.
Yeah.
So if we only had that advertiser, we might be able to keep the fucking lights on. Pay for the Zoom at least.
Final thoughts. Man, a standard Mother's Day card is like $6. I hate to sound like the old man leaving the show. I mean, everything else I've said, I sounded like an old man. Man, $6 for fuck's sake. A Mother's Day card? $6? What? No way.
Oh, we're going to burn that into the ground now.
Dude, is $6 a lot for a fucking card? It's a lot of money, right? I got to get one from the kid, one from me. For fuck's sake, $12. And then it's like $90 to mail it. Dude, for fuck's sake.
You know what? It's worth it for me to get some plane tickets and come to Houston and literally just go out into bars. And you know what we're going to do all night is that. We will do that until people murder us in the parking lot. We will be sitting there buying a beer and some little thing will happen and we'll just fucking all night. That's all we're going to do.
What?
You can put down the beers and it's like, we're going to be in some bar we've never been to before. That's $14 for 2 fucking Bud Lights. What?
No way.
It's going to be burnt. You know how we would do it, man. It would be fucking awful.
We got to contact that guy. We got to get him on. You know what? We've never had a guest on the podcast.
I don't know if I have the fucking technological savvy to pull that off, dude.
I think you just invite him on. That guy will come on with us. Can we bring on a guest?
I've thought about it. I just don't know how we do it where they'd be like, why the fuck are we on this shitty podcast?
Well, listen, we should maybe get him on before we call up Roth to get him to come on. Maybe we should try the for fuck's sake guy up in Canada first so that we don't look completely idiotic in front of, somebody that sang for Van Halen.
Because I've thought about it. I'm like, man, there's a lot of guys that I know that we could get guys on in the record business and just fucking Because what do? We talk about all this shit, right? And we're always talking about movies. There's people in the movie business we could get on here, and they're not going to be celebrities, but they could fucking guide us through some of this shit that we could pound questions at. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Fuck, we could bring on Briggs, for crying out loud. It's it's better than any celebrity. That fucking guy, our friend, will just talk. He'll take over the whole place.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess we could figure that out. I don't know. But do we really want to interrupt the incredible flow we have on this podcast?
I think right now, when the No Way guy is this hot, I think we got to get him on. He's hot right now.
Might be worth the DM. Might be worth slipping into his DMs. And you know what's going to happen when he opens it? What? No way. We're going to be on a podcast in New Orleans and Houston. There's 7 listeners, maybe an advertiser. Yeah.
Gonna look at our numbers and just go, you know what, guys? I'm like way bigger than you. No, for fuck's sake, why would I go on your podcast? It's not going to do anything for my brand.
And you know what we do too is we would just sit there and try and get them to say that. That's our whole thing.
Could you just turn us? Listen, could you just turn us down? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to send you a video message to be on the podcast. Could you just turn me down with your catchphrases?
Send it back.
That's it.
We'd like you to do a Zoom interview on our podcast.
I mean, because basically, what are we going to talk with? What are we going to talk about the guy with? I just wanted to say those 3 things.
You know what? I got a funny feeling we could spend a lot of time talking to that dude. I guarantee it.
But just all I want is him to turn us down. That's it.
Come on, ask him one question. What? And then he's gone. And you know what? Right. We would just sit here and laugh our balls off for 2 hours. It'd be great. I don't know.
Guys, thanks for checking this out today. Wherever podcasts are, we are our socials. We talk about everybody else's socials but ours. It is at Playpants Pod. We are on the YouTube channel, and maybe in the future we're going to start having some guests on the show. You don't know. Hey, give us your top mother songs. Just it seems like people where they go the most is our YouTube channel. So that's where people are dropping their top 5s. If you want to drop the top 5 on our Twitter, great. If you want to drop it on our Facebook page, awesome. Wherever you want to drop it, man. But you know, we'll if it's good, we'll read it off, and you'll be famous. You'll be Playpants Podcast famous anyway. So yeah.
Tens of people will know you, but that's not true. We actually have more numbers than that. And if you want to advertise, you contact either Rod and he will ignore it, or you can contact me, or hit us up through the DMs on our socials. And you know what? You would get some value out of it. You really would. You would. This is doing all right, man. And we're gonna keep doing it at least for another week.
Yeah, 85 in the can. All right, bye everybody. All right, thank you.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Playpants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Playpants Pod.